The University of Exeter sponsors this session as part of our celebration of 20 years of the Experimental Archaeology Masters Programme. Feeling inspired? Do get in touch. Many of our staff research and teach using experiments. We encourage our students to present and publish. At this conference, 8 staff, 5 current PhD students and 10 current and recent master's students are all presenting papers. They're doing this alongside many of our former students who have continued to conduct their research in this field. The conference has proved to be a great way to see more of our global alumni. If you want to come and study with us for an MSc in Experimental Archaeology or any of our top postgraduate programmes, do get in touch. We also offer research degrees at master's and PhD level, which can be based in Exeter or at a distance. You will be joining a vibrant and active postgraduate community and become part of a world-leading research department.
So hi, I'm Marisa Lazari. I'm a specialist in Andean archaeology, particularly of northwestern Argentina. I am the director of the MA Archaeology program in the department and also the director of the Center for the Archaeology of the Americas. I work with obsidian and pottery and primarily looking at circulation, exchange and long-distance networks, but also the use of things in everyday contexts in the formative period. I've used experimental archaeology in a limited way recently, primarily after being in Exeter and being exposed to it. And I've been exposed before and I always found value in it, but I never had a chance to try it. And being surrounded by such wonderful colleagues doing great, incredible things has been very inspiring to me. I recently done a little work on obsidian operative chains of formative period projectile points. I'm really interested in it. I've also done a bit of pottery experimentation, and although I haven't used it academically, it has helped me a lot to broaden my understanding of the material, of the fabric, all the assemblages as well, and the implications of dealing with them, with this material, which is wonderful. So I'm really interested, and I'm always keen on talking with students. We have experimental perspectives and approaches, and having wonderful conversations about how can we look at experimental work from a social perspective, the material culture perspective, and also a landscape perspective. At the Center for the Archaeology of the Americas, we have a very interesting group of archaeologists working in a variety of settings and countries. We have people working in North America, like Professor Alan Outram, and of course people working in South America, like Professor Jose Iriarte, who works in the Amazon, and also in various countries like Colombia and Brazil and Bolivia. We also have Mark Robinson, who works in Belize, but also in Colombia and Brazil. And we have a lot of PhD students who have been developing projects in a variety of settings, from Brazil to Chile to Mexico and Argentina and Bolivia. We look at, of course, archaeology and connectivity, but also relationships with the environment, and we are also very interested in heritage issues, territory, and indigenous perspectives on the past and in the present. We have a lot of collaborative initiatives that we're starting with Canada, UBC recently, British Columbia, but also with other places in Argentina and in other countries. So we are very dynamic and we have a lot of interesting initiatives, and we're always really keen on listening to students' approaches and initiatives, and we have supported a lot of student events in recent years.
Hello, I'm Mark Robinson. I'm a research fellow in the Department of Archaeology at University of Exeter. And I particularly specialise in the neotropics, look at a number of different aspects of archaeology, in particular with environmental archaeology and multiple different methodologies and proxies we can use to try and reconstruct human environment and human plant interactions through time. Now, I've worked in a number of different locations, from Central to South America, a lot of jungles as well as sometimes outside the jungles. And sometimes we do actually use some experiments to try and inform our understanding of human-plant interactions or human-environment interactions. So in some cases, we've looked at landscape scale and try and understand how people maybe communicated or how they use the ritual landscape. So for instance, in southern Brazil, you could see a lot of ceremonial sites were in prominent locations in the landscape. We wanted to know if this was something which would inform the public in antiquity. So we actually lit beacons essentially, on each of the different hilltops to see how far we can actually see these different ceremonial events that may have taken place. This really gave us a better understanding of how the landscape really worked. Rather than just looking on a computer or just purely on a map, we could actually see the practical side of this. Up in Belize, worked on a number of different projects there where working with modern communities really helped inform us about how different processes could happen. We found one small site up on a hillside, and it's got a small architecture, stone architecture, faced beautifully, but it looked like there wasn't much activity in the area, and our excavations revealed very shallow stratigraphy with no real accumulation of material. Now, we hypothesised based on a lot of ethnographic work about the Maya that these were maybe just festival sites put together very rapidly to host a festival, something to do with a ritual practitioner who would then maybe ascend into the cave, and as a way of centering their community and making boundaries. We wanted to know how quickly these sites could have been put together. If it was a festival site, they probably didn't want to put a lot of labour into the construction. So we did a modern experiment where we actually did a labour study, and we looked at calculating the volume of the structures, but then looked at how much labour would be needed to move the material to the site. Now, this actually meant working with the local community to carry rocks. We weighed the rocks and then measured the amount of time it took to move rocks over a certain distance. From that, we could then calculate the labour hours needed to construct these buildings. And we could then calculate exactly how much labour was needed. And that was a great little study we got published in Antiquity back in 2016.
Hi, my name is Felipe. I'm a current PhD student at the University of Exeter, and one of the reasons it led me to choose an experimental archaeology program here was that I've always liked doing, how can I say, practical stuff, and having done my undergrad in a bit of a more theory focused, I was really keen on finding something that will be quite hands-on, and having had contact with one of the staff members from the university here during one of the field excavations in South Brazil, I got the contact and I started looking into it, and it seemed to me like a very interesting and how can I say, practical experience. So I applied for it and came here, and I must say that it was quite a mind-opening experience that led me to actually rethink not just archaeology itself, but a lot of my conceptions about us and things and the tasks we do in general, even when I'm just, I don't know, doing like practical stuff like cooking or gardening or whatever. Usually gets my head thinking around about how stuff were done before and how the practicalities of what we do imply into how we see what other people were doing, if that makes any sense. And I'm originally from Brazil, from Aracaju, and have been like moving around quite a lot with archaeology, and in the last 3 years I have been here, 3 or 4 years I have been here in Exeter, busy with a PhD, which has led me back and forth to South Brazil looking at stone tools of Southern Niger groups, and currently that's me.
Happy birthday to experimental archaeology at Exeter.